Thank you for inviting me to the 7th Conference on Brand Forum. I'm sorry I cannot be there in person. The theme of this conference of branding in the digital age is very timely. If there is any technology that is going to transform branding and marketing more than any other technology, it is the digital technology. Think about the changes it has already made in our daily lives, especially with social media. The largest nation in the world is no longer China or India in population, but it is Facebook nation. Today, that nation has a citizenship which is very different than we can think about, more inclusive, more global, does not have the traditional jurisdiction. It's shaping our lives. In the family today, for example, we are living more like roommates. Everybody quickly has their dinner, and then each one goes in their own corner. Somebody's doing the text messaging, somebody's watching YouTube, somebody is actually making transactions, and somebody's watching television. So even in a family, we are living more and more like roommates. Interesting. So I will talk about the impact of the digital age on marketing and on branding, primarily taking a view about how the 4 Ps of marketing is going to dramatically change because of this technology. The single most aspect of this technology is actually not the digital platform, but its application in terms of cell phones. This is the only technology that has truly democratized the benefits to all masses. Electronics in general, and digital technology in particular, loves masses, and masses love it. So let's go through the journey about how this will impact marketing function. Just to conclude up front, all marketing is anchored to time and place or location, whether those are product life cycle, brand life cycle, which are time anchored, or the retailing, which is a location anchored. All of the advertising and media are location based because population is concentrated in geographies and locations. Competition is often location, either it's a domestic competition or a global competition, for example. These are the laws that are going to be challenged going forward because digital technology will make marketing, traditional marketing, from that to anytime, anywhere marketing. So location bound and time bound marketing practices will become now time agnostic and location agnostic. Digital technology, unlike industrial technologies, is not only scale but also speed. It is very rapidly changing. Its impact is almost instantaneous and on a global basis. This also will change the marketing functions. So let's go through the journey about each one of the 4 Ps of marketing, starting with product. The first notion about product is that the product itself is going to be digitized, such as publishing, for example. Digital age will be more transformative than if the product is more physical product and one has to experience the product. In that case, the digital technology becomes a great enabler, less friction in consuming or in procuring the product. So I'm watching publishing industry, or the media industry in general, and how rapidly it's changing. Branding will become more imaginative. All of our branding knowledge came primarily from FMCG or fast moving consumer goods. Next generation of branding is all coming from Silicon Valley companies. Think about names like Google, Apple, Yahoo. Nobody would have ever imagined in the ad agency business to coin names like that. So branding imagination will come more from the digital industry than it is from the consumer goods industry, which again is radical change in the way they think. I believe everything will be online. Online everything, all consumption. Online dating, online commerce, online information, online anything. There is an app for anything in life. Mundane things will be put into app because we don't have the typical socialization from the family, such as, for example, how to brush my teeth. Somebody can professionally put that into an app and I can learn a lot more than what my family could teach. So online anything is one major impact on the product. And the last and a very key one is that this technology is making everything more affordable and accessible. Today, think about the HD television with all the internet capability available today, especially in advanced countries, for under $100 for a 55-inch screen. That's unimaginable. And this is true about telemedicine. I can access now doctors, etc., through distance. And it is definitely happening in higher education, where today you have the large scale MOOCs, as they're called, such as Coursera, edX, which you can reach any place. They're free on the one hand and accessible any place, anytime, 24/7. So impact on product will be very appropriate, especially on the branding side. The second area of 4 Ps of marketing, where digital technology will have an enormous impact, is advertising, sales, and promotion. We are going to blur the boundaries between advertising and promotion, between selling, advertising, and promotion. And definitely we are going to blur the boundaries between, in fact, users versus the buyers. They're all together now. There is no some such thing as that one medium does the awareness and then the other medium does actually closing of the sale. Today on the online platform, I can have you come in, you can look at what products I offer, but also I can make a deal right away. I can give you incentives real time. So it is going to change enormously. Online procurement on online shopping is absolutely the real phenomenon. If you see the success in China, if you see the success in India, it is very important that online revolution is going to be more faster and bigger in emerging economies than it is in advanced economies. Its consequence is very simple. Most of the consumption in emerging economies like Bangladesh or India or many parts of the world is unbranded consumption. My estimates are running that at least 65% of all products that we consume in countries like Bangladesh, India, etc., are unbranded products. In e-commerce, you have to brand the products. So branding will come naturally as a consequence of online procurement, online shopping. Second thing, competition is usually unbranded competitors or unorganized sector or informal sector. Now it also gets organized competitors. There's a huge change by having this advertising promotion being driven more by mobile advertising and payment systems such as the M-Pesa in Kenya, for example, where 30% of the GDP is done not by credit cards or by cash or by checks, but it is done by online payment gateway or platforms. Second major impact in advertising, promotion, and communication is going to be user-generated advertising, user-generated content. Companies are leveraging that very interestingly by creating what I call democratization of creativity. Who said creativity only is with a handful of people in ad agencies? Today, everybody has the potential to be creative. As we have seen on those talent programs like American Idol and its counterparts all over the world, Talent is everywhere. It needs to be discovered. And now this technology allows ordinary consumers to become extraordinary creative slogan creators, creative advertising creators, as we have seen by Frito-Lay, which is a Pepsi company, on snacks like potato chips and tortilla chips, creating user-generated advertising, a competition, and showing that on the biggest event in America called the Super Bowl, which is the American football. That is very transformative again. The third and even bigger impact is social media word of mouth communication. Word of mouth communication is ageless. It has been there from the day we lived in communities. When we went from hunter and gatherer society to a farming society where we all lived together in a community, there was always word of mouth communication about what products buy, who is a good supplier, who can you rely, and all the stuff. Today, it is amplifying through social media on a global basis. Internet is not only a rich medium where I can have video communication as well as print communication all come together, but it has a global reach. Very powerful medium. So word of mouth, I can now spread to people I don't even know. I can create friends and I can create community members of a group of some sort and communicate and influence them. Not only can I put my experiences on the web and say whether I had a good or a bad experience with a product or with a restaurant or with a hotel or with an airline, and I can create an instant impact in the marketplace. This was unthinkable in the industrial age. I also believe one of the key issues in advertising and communication is going to be the restrictions by channels. Remember, in the old broadcast days, you had only the state government or the national television program or a radio program. Then we allowed cable and we expanded the capacity to maybe 500 channels. Cable became the dominant platform for advertising. But the next platform with infinite channels is the YouTube. Today, each celebrity has their own YouTube and more audience for celebrity than probably any cable channel can provide. 2, 3, 4, 5 million followers, very passionate fans, and I can communicate through them, I can advertise through them, I can promote the products, and this was unthinkable at one time. But imagine where on YouTube I can have infinite channel, not only by the celebrity of some sort, but also by each product category. There is no limit of number of channels. Every consumer can have their own YouTube channel as your promoter, as spreading the gospel, as your ambassador in many ways. And this power of video communication, especially on a platform like YouTube, with infinite capacity of dedicated channels, primarily says that I can provide a lot more depth of information. I can do not only information sharing with you, I can do actually interaction. I can have a chat while I'm negotiating, but also I can do the closing of the sale, which means the cycle from awareness, interest, knowledge, and desire, and ultimately close is all compressed very quickly. This is absolutely breathtaking. I am in awe. After 50 years of teaching, I find this is fantastic new thing that is happening in the world, and marketing as we know today will be transformed totally by the digital age. The third P equally impacted is the place. Remember the old saying, location, location, location. We have the laws of retail gravitation, that people will come to a shop, neighborhood, provision store, or a grocery guy who has been there for multi-generations, the corner shop, which is a panwala as we call it in the Indian context or Bangladeshi context, for example. That is minor detail. Or we had a shopping centers and say how many people will come to that regional shopping center. Those are all off bets now. retailing is on global basis. So think about Alibaba in China. In one day, has a singles event where you give gift for yourself, and in one day they generated more than $10 billion of sales. Unthinkable, because they reach the whole nation and maybe the whole Chinese diaspora worldwide. And the concept was give gift to yourself, as opposed to we think of giving gift to somebody else. This can be replicated in any emerging economy, so long as you have the infrastructure of the smartphones, payment systems, and the broadband internet. This is a radical change about laws of retail gravitation. I also believe second major change is going to be what I call demand-driven sourcing. The traditional way we made things in the industrial age was that we acquired the raw materials, we produced the product, the value add, finished product, we stored it in the inventory, distributed to the middlemen, for example, and they kept it in their inventory in the shops, etc., and the customer came. The cost of holding the inventory itself, in the American context at least, is 40% annual cost of just holding the inventory. Very expensive. But today, somebody orders it online, and now we have a reverse supply chain, which says marketing really is going to be more and more a supply chain management function, or a reverse marketing as we call it. And it is not limited to B2B companies like Cisco Systems or Dell Computers. This is a reality in consumer markets today, which is why companies like Amazon are becoming more and more portals rather than strictly, in fact, people who take the ownership of the products and then sell it to you. They don't have to own any inventory even. Interesting. This is a radical change. So basically, what it does in terms of location is 24/7 time and location, and I can do business anytime, anywhere, which gives an enormous change in the way we do shopping. In my generation, for example, shops were closed on Sundays, definitely in America, and in Europe on Saturday and Sunday, Saturday half a day, and everything was shut down. Then we liberalized the laws that shops will be open Sundays also, especially for liquor, or liquor laws they're called. And today, typical stores are open 24/7. In the internet age, digital age, they're always open. There is no holiday. It's 24/7, 365 days. Last AP, which is equally dramatically changing, is price. There is a real-time dynamic pricing for everything. What we know is happening in the stock market, what we know what is happening in the airline business, where online pricing changes dynamically based upon demand or what they call yield management, it is likely to happen for every consumer product and for each SKU, stock keeping unit. Today, technology allows me, by remote access, to price every little item in every store wherever my stores are. And therefore, based on the demand, if the demand is very low in one store, I can drop the price. I can advertise. I can move the crowds from one location to the other for getting the incentives or the price values. Price also will be actually subscription-based pricing. In other words, all these services are likely to become subscription-based, very similar to the Uber phenomenon. Uberization, ride sharing, is absolutely frictionless. Today, I can go anywhere in the world if I have an Uber account, and I can get an Uber service, so I don't have to haggle with the language. I don't know the language. I don't have to haggle with the taxi driver. I don't have to worry about the payment system or in local currency, etc. Everything is done. So Uberization, or sharing economy, is here, which has an enormous impact on marketing, because marketing is founded on the principle of transferring ownership, not just possession. And this ownership concept goes away. Overall, therefore, pricing wise, bundling and unbundling is going to be much more dynamic than ever before, and the price will go global more and more. So, to conclude, branding will become more imaginative than ever before in the digital age, and we will have a democratization of creativity where users are co-producers and co-creators of value for the companies. Fundamental message is that what is peripheral, which is digital marketing, online procurement shopping, online advertising, which is peripheral becomes more and more core, and the core becomes peripheral. What does that mean? That means very interesting law I have discovered over time, that whenever a core activity is given up, it always comes back as a hobby business or a specialty business. Think about hunting, fishing. There used to be daily necessities in the hunter and the gatherer days. Then think about gardening, daily necessity in the farming community. Think about, in fact, baking breads. Today nobody bakes bread, but it's a big hobby business. Cooking. Have you seen the popularity of the food channel all over the world? It's fascinating. We are taking ordinary cooks into celebrity chefs, for example. I find my mother's recipe is better than these guys, but I never thought about my mother becoming a celebrity chef on television on a global basis. And therefore, what is core comes back a peripheral, peripheral becomes a core, and this is the transition digital technology will make. And therefore, daily activities will come back always as hobbies, as big market or as specialty markets. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation. I want to congratulate Bangladesh Brand Forum, which has done a great national service by organizing conference and impacting so many people in Bangladesh. I think it's a great forum, and I'm so glad that I could participate. Unfortunately, via technology, I could not be there in person. Again, thank you for inviting me.